Lord Krishna Naman to all the students. We'll be talking about our second chapter of Indian economic development, that is 5 year plans in India, goals and achievements. Okay, so in this chapter, we'll be talking about our economic planning and the 5 year plans that took place from 1950 to 2017. Okay, so now let's talk about the first topic of our chapter, which is what is economic planning. Before moving on to economic planning, let's first understand what is planning. Okay, so planning is thinking in advance what to do, how to do, and when to do. मीन्स हमें क्या करना है, कब करना है और कैसे करना है, ये पहले से ही डिसाइड करना क्या होता है, वो होता है हमारा प्लानिंग. ओके, सो नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग. सो let's define the economic planning first. So economic planning means utilization of countries resources in different development activities in accordance with national priorities. मतलब इकोनॉमिक प्लानिंग का मतलब ये है कि जो हमारी कंट्री के पास रिसोर्सेज हैं, रिसोर्सेज एज इन वाटर, एज इन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, रोड्स, ट्रांसपोर्ट, वॉट एवर इट इज़, तो जो भी हमारे पास कंट्री के पास रिसोर्सेज हैं उनको डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटीज़ में, ठीक है, कैसे यूज़ करना है और नेशनल प्रायोरिटीज़ को ध्यान में रख के. नेशनल प्रायोरिटीज़ क्या होती हैं? लेट्स टॉक अ बिट अबाउट नेशनल प्रायोरिटीज़. सो नेशनल प्रायोरिटीज़ आर लाइक health, defense, and education. These are the basic national priorities, and with it, the food of all the public of India. Okay, so now let's talk a bit about Planning Commission. Planning Commission was situated or created. Planning Commission was created in 1950 under the chairmanship of Professor Mahalanobis. It was abolished in 2015, February 2015 to be exact, and replaced by Niti Aayog. Okay, Niti Aayog, let's talk a bit about Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog has a full form, National Institute for Transforming India. Okay, so now let's move on and talk about need for planning in India. Okay, so what was the need for planning in India? So every country needs some planning to go forward. Okay, so a country like India, which got freedom in 1947, needs to plan its growth, because when Englishmen left us, you have already read in chapter first that when Englishmen left us, they left us completely destroyed. They destroyed our economy, they destroyed our agriculture, they destroyed everything in our country. So we need to plan our country's growth as per our requirements. Okay, so there were two options then. One was directive planning and other one was comprehensive planning. Directive planning is a system where everything is private, means everything works under private ownership, means the government has no interference under the directive planning, everything works under private guidance. Okay, now let's talk about comprehensive planning. Comprehensive planning is like socialistic economy, means everything comes under government, like China is doing today, means everything needs to report to the country, means if you need to open a shop you need to inform the government first. Okay, so the prices of everything are decided by government in comprehensive planning. So there were three models in our economy that were available to be adapted. Okay, so let's talk about the first model first. So the first model was capitalistic economy. What was capitalistic economy? Okay, actually there were two models that were going around the world in 1950. We introduced the third model for whole world. Okay, So the first was capitalistic economy. Capitalistic economy is same like directive planning, means where everything is private, means everything goes into private hands, whether it is defense, whether it is health, or whether it is education, or let's say food. Everything is private, where government has no control. Government just provide law and order for all the companies and all the people. Okay, so it was capitalistic economy. Let's talk about features of capitalistic economy. The salient features of capitalistic economy were: there's a private ownership of the means of production, means every production company is private hands. Okay, every production company working under capitalistic economy is in private hands. There is no government interference in it. For example, we can see USA. USA is a capitalistic economy, so there is no interference of government. Okay, let's talk about the second point. The second point says means of productions are used in a manner such that profits are maximized. Means the main aim of capitalistic economy is maximizing the profit. Means they don't care about the public, means they don't care about the poor public especially. Okay, capitalistic economy mainly focuses on just profit. And last feature is the role of government is largely confined to the maintenance of law and order and defense of the country. I have already told you about this, that government's role was just to maintain law and order and defense. Okay, so merits and demerits can be read by about all of you. I won't discuss about that. Let's move on to the socialistic economy. The socialist economy is where government decides everything. Means everything is owned by government, whether it is education, whether it is production, whether it is sales, everything is owned by, or every price is decided by government. That is called socialistic economy. Let's talk about the features of socialistic economy. Means of productions are collectively owned by society as a whole, or there is a public ownership of the means of production. Means everything is owned by public, means the government, as the government is ruled by public. Okay, next point is means of productions are used in a manner such that social welfare is maximized. Means in socialistic economy, social welfare is the epicenter of growth. Means we see that every people, whether it is poor or rich, they get equal benefits of everything. Okay, so the third point is there is a direct participation of government in the process of production. The role of government is not merely confined to law and order and defense. Here the government directly participate in the production works. The role of government is not only maintaining law and order and defense. Okay, now let's talk about the model that India has shown to the whole world. The whole world laughed at India when we introduced this model, because it was the India was the first country to introduce this model, and today about 105 countries have adapted this model. So we should be proud of that. Okay, so now let's talk about the mixed economy. Mixed economy model means where some things are owned by private sector and some things are owned by government sector. Okay, India was a country where everything cannot be given to private sector, because we have poor people as well as rich people. Okay, so we have adapted a model which is mixed economic model. So let's talk about its features. Means of productions are owned by private entrepreneurs as well as government. So I have told you in advance that means of production in mixed economy are owned by both private sector as well as government sector. Next point is in the private sector, production decisions are governed by the principles of profit maximization. Means when the means of production that are in private sector, they focus on the profit, and the government sector or the public sector, we focus on the social welfare. Okay, so here we can see it is an amalgamation of both, like profit as well as social welfare. Okay, so last point for the features is both private and public sectors play a significant role in the process of production. Means here the government as well as private sector plays a very important role in the process of production. Merits and demerits, you can go through the merits and demerits. In case of any question, just ask me. Thank you.